Double lift. Have you finished, bro? Oh, what's up, GameLeapers? Coach Jizz is back today, and in this video, we are going to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes you are making this season and how to go about fixing them. Now, by the end of this video, guys, you will have game-changing new knowledge and a new high elo mindset that will help you achieve your goals in Season 11. You see, after coaching hundreds of students to division and tier climbs, these 10 mistakes are the most common that I've found, and they are going to help you out that much, I guarantee it. Now, I want to know, what was the best advice you ever received on League? Did your friend tell you to get good? Or maybe someone told you to check out that amazing website that will 100% get you out of elo hell. What's it called? GameLeap.com, that's right. Guys, join thousands of others and get signed up today for our exclusive Challenger tier content that is fresh AF. Unlike our competitors, we don't recycle our YouTube videos behind a paywall, so click on one of the links in the description and comment section. Alright, let's get into it, and this first mistake is one of the biggest everyone makes, and that's not limit testing enough. Now, I'm not saying you should be taking every fight possible because, yeah, you will die 20 times. I'm saying when you think there is an opportunity to outplay your opponent, then go for it. You see, way too many players are stuck in the mindset of, I have to play safe to win, and they end up playing so safe, they sit under their tower for 20 minutes, and the problem with that is that your chances of winning that game rest on your teammates' shoulders, and their shoulders, well, in pretty much every game, they're not very big. They're pin. You are never going to carry playing like that, and you are never going to improve, which is perhaps the most important thing. Like, even if you do lose that 1v1 or you misplay a team fight, you know for next time you go for that same play exactly what to do because you created that experience. Right, you grow in confidence. Now, just a quick little story. I was coaching a Bronze Lux yesterday, and he was playing against a Yasuo, and he was so scared to move up, even at level 1, when Yasuo's pretty useless. And that's because he's stuck in the mindset of, don't die, don't die, don't die, instead of thinking about his own strengths and advantages in the lane. It's like he's shaking almost because he's been told limit testing is bad, and playing safe is good. It's just not the case. To test your limits, guys, push yourself. You know, if players didn't limit test, we wouldn't have Faker. What was that? Right, this next mistake, I know none of you would have expected this to be one, and that's why it's going to help immensely, because you think it helps you, but it really doesn't. Now, you know those applications all the big streamers advertise, and you guys download them because you think they have a massive impact on you winning and losing. They don't. So Blitz GG, Professor GG, Pay Guys GG, whatever it is you guys have downloaded, get in the control panel right away, go to your programs and uninstall them ASAP. Here's the thing, guys. These are pseudo apps, and the worst thing about them that instead of you playing the game based on the champions in your game, your play is dictated by the players in your game. Now, why is this bad? Well, let's think of an obvious matchup. So Talon against Kassadin, right? Talon wins this easily, but let's say if you're the Talon, all of a sudden you look at Blitz GG and Kassadin is on a 5-game winning streak. Oh my god, he must be Faker, and he's got really good stats. All of a sudden, you play the matchup completely differently. You now play scared and Kassadin scales for free, and at the end of the game, you might say something like, there's nothing I could have done, or Kassadin is so broken. What's broken is Blitz GG, Professor GG. It kids you into thinking about the game in a BS way. Like, if you're a jungler and let's say your Talon is on a 5-game losing streak and he's still against a Kassadin, you might not decide to even look at mid lane, even though you objectively should, because playing around your strong laners early on is essential. So what I'm really saying here, guys, is that you have to play the champions, not the players. The only elo this might not be true, and notice how I said might, is in Challenger, where you might get a diamond going up against a Challenger. But 99% of the time, players are going to be similar in skill, so the matchup should play out the way it's supposed to. Just get rid of these fake apps, guys. Trust me, they are way more of a hindrance than a help. Alright, the next huge mistake players of all elos make, I mean, you could well argue this is the biggest one, is this: not knowing your gold values. Now, if I was to ask you, and answer me honestly in the comments, otherwise Coach Jizz will be everywhere, do you know how much gold your core items cost? Let's take it a step further. Do you know how much gold the components of your core items cost? And here I'm talking about items like a Noon Quiver, a BF Sword, Lost Chapter, Balmy Cinder, and so on. The reason knowing these is so crucial is because these gold values, in other words what you can buy with your bank, determine when you recall, and one of the biggest elo stoppers, if you like, is overstaying. Now, when you overstay, what you're essentially doing is sitting on one of your key items. You have the gold for Eluden's Tempest, but you stay for another wave and die for it. You have a Gore Drinker, but you try to save your jungler invading and die as well. In most cases, if you simply recall when you have enough gold for a core component or core item, you will win more. Now think about this. If you're a racing car driver, you have to make pit stops to replace the worn tires you've been driving around on. And after you make that pit stop, you are the quickest speediest car out of everyone. Now in League, when you don't know your goal values and you are sitting on key items, you are burning through your tires like I do pro guides. And while everyone else is on a fresh set of tires, as in they've bought their key items, you are still sitting on a Doran's Blade, on a Corrupting Potion, on an Ember Knife. You get me? So open up your League client and go to Collection, then Item Sets, and make some for the champions you play. And then memorize how much these items cost, even to the point where you know a Serrated Dirk is 750 gold if you have a longsword already, or Kraken Slayer is 2100 gold if you have a Noon Quiver. The more you know, the less you overstay and the less you die. Sounds good, right? Moving on to the next huge mistake every player makes, and that's thinking you are Faker. Now you might be scratching your head thinking, what is Coach Cheese going on about? I'm talking about your in-game mouse speed and DPI if you really want to get technical. Just because Faker plays on a crazy high DPI or mouse sensitivity, does that mean you should? Like, are you Faker? Of course not. That wasn't meant to be toxic, but if that was the universal best sensitivity, then why is it the Faker is the only pro player that uses those speeds? You know, why doesn't every other pro? Why doesn't Doper? Why doesn't Reckless? That's because everyone is different, right? So you need to find a mouse speed that works for you. Like if your mouse speed is too low and you're knocking over your TSM mug every game, or your mouse speed is so high that you have a headache, it's probably time to fix it. So what you can do is set up a few dummies in a practice tool, center your camera and practice flicking your cursor onto the dummy from yourself. Pick a champion with a skill shot as well, like Lux, Ezreal, and you will instantly realize you're not playing on a comfortable sensitivity because you can't even land 2 Lux bindings in a row. Now I've never told a student to turn their speed up because yeah, most players think the higher the better. The more control, the better. And most, if not all the time, that's going to be a lower sensitivity. In fact, all of you right now, turn your in-game mouse speed down by 5. I'm being serious, and you will be way more precise with your micro. Now, the next mistake that I see all the time, and this is something every low elo player fails to do. You see players in bronze and silver and gold and platinum, even in diamond, think that kills are all that matter. Kills are important, don't get me wrong, the same as objectives, but the golden question that should determine how and where you play is simple. How do you win this game? Because the answer doesn't include kills, it doesn't include objectives. The answer, and some of you may have heard of this term before, is playing around your win condition. And if you play around your win condition, you will get more kills, you will get more objectives, and you will win more games. But what is a win condition? Well, a win con is simply this. It is the strategy that gives you the best chance of winning a game. Now, this depends on so many factors, right? The champions in that game, who has fared, the state of the map. But let me tell you this, and you can apply this instantly in your games. Just ask yourself, who is the most fed on my team? And the answer is always in the scoreboard, so just press tab. So look at your teammates' items, levels, CS score, and compare it to their opponents. Now, until the super late game where everyone has at least, 4 to 5 items, your team should be playing around the most fed champion. Now that doesn't mean you all gank your fed Camille at 5 minutes. This means if you're an AD carry, for example, you take it easy and survive. If you don't die, the enemy team doesn't have an answer for your Camille. In other words, you dying is your lose condition. You lose that game when your top laner is crushing by feeding the enemy bot lane. So essentially you give the enemy a win condition when just before that they didn't have one. There was no way they could win. Now in some games, yes, every lane in the jungler is going to pop off and you win in 15 minutes regardless of who you play around, but most of the time it will only be 1 or 2 of your team who actually have a lead. You never want to be basing your play guides on your 0-10 Yasuo or your 0-20 bot lane, right? Your win condition, the easiest way to explode that enemy nexus is by playing around that champion with the most gold. Okay, now this next mistake I have mentioned in my Roasting Low Elo series, and I'm going to mention it here because it is super important and will save you. So most players, particularly in lower levels of play, think the dragon is the be-all and end-all of a league game. Like, if we don't get this Drake, we lose. And it's a Cloud Drake at 5 minutes, like why is it so important? The Drakes that truly matter are Soul Point, so the 4th dragon a team gets, and Elder of course. So what I'm telling you guys is to stop thinking about dragon as if it's at the top of your priorities. If there is nothing else to get on the map in terms of resources, yes, dragon by all means secure it. But there is no reason to leave your lane and give up minions or to help your jungler who is already 0-10 out on dragon. Play for yourself. So remember the pit stop reference I made? If you're sitting on gold and your jungler pings dragon or the enemy red buff, do not cancel your recall to help them out. Take that pit stop and then help them out. You play the game on your terms, not the terms of Bob Ross 123 on Udit. So forget dragon exists until later in a game, guys, unless it is the only resource you can take on the map. It's a massive time, gold, and experience waster. Alright, let me hit you with a big as mistake players make, and the fix for it is very simple and applicable. Hotkeys are everything. So if you skill your abilities with your mouse, or you recall with your mouse, or you place wards with your mouse, you are wasting valuable time playing with your cursor. You can keep keep your cursor where it really matters, around your champion, and just use a hotkey to do the dirty work for you. They are there to make your lives easier. For example, what happens if you level up while fighting someone in the early game, and the difference between you winning and losing that fight is if you skill that ability in time. Now without a hotkey, there is no way you win unless you pulled out a bribe before the game started. So think about levels 2 and 3 and then level 6. Every matchup, regardless of what champion you're playing, is impacted by ultimates, obviously. So if you're playing Zed against Katarina and you hit level 6, all of a sudden, if you skill your death mark with a simple Control R, that's my hotkey and most people's for it, you get a kill. If you're playing Leona and you skill your Solar Flare ASAP, you create a kill opportunity bot lane faster than you would just mouse leveling. Now, like your mouse sensitivity, everyone's fingers are different. You might have sausage fingers, you might have Smeagol fingers. You have to set up hotkeys that are comfortable for you. Even the F keys, which everyone talks about, being able to immediately look at your teammates and what's happening, these have to be pressable. Now, it goes without saying that if you're experimenting with different hotkeys, they are going to feel weird at first, but getting used to them is one essential building block you must have if you're to climb at a low elo. Now, guys, this next mistake, like all the others, is a biggie, and you have got to stop making it. When you make a decision and then second guess yourself, you probably stop what you were going to do and then you do something else. This indecision, this doubt, slows you down. So when you make a decision, even if it's a bad one, commit to it, unless it's running it down mid, of course. Now this applies to most junglers, but I'm sure all of you can relate. You might have killed an enemy and you decide to do Dragon to maximize your gains, but after doing Drake for 5 seconds, you might realize, I could have taken Gromp as well, and you actually stop doing Dragon and you waddle over to the enemy Gromp, only to get caught out when you restart Dragon 30 seconds later. You make an action and you live with the consequences. Do not react to your own actions. Stay committed to them. It's almost like limit testing mechanically, but you're limit testing in terms of your macro. You see an opportunity to attain a resource on the map, and bang, you go in for it, no holding back. Yes, you are going to die and fail sometimes, but you will learn quicker than everyone else. And this leads me into the next mistake we all make. And if you're enjoying the video so far, guys, please let us know by leaving a like down below. So yeah, you're going to die and you're going to fail. I'm talking about on the Rift. Well, it's true about in real life as well, but yeah, way to bring down the mood, Coach Cheese. So it's important that you accept your losses as part of the game, but what's more important than that is learning from your losses. So when it comes down to it, we all want to improve, right? Even if our main goal is to enjoy the game, we all want to get better. So it's one thing to say, oh, okay, I lost that game, no worries, on to the next. But it's another thing to say, oh, okay, I lost that game, but what can I do better next game? Or what could I have done differently? You see, all of a sudden, you put the ball in your court. It's no longer just a case of, yep, that's league for you. You made it a case of, I could have done X better or Y better. So we're all going to keep losing, but one way to lose less is to improve out of our losses. Now, before I reveal the last bombshell mistake everyone makes, one last friendly reminder to head on over to our fat website, GameLeap.com, when I stop talking, because if you want to improve, we have everything you will ever need. The freshest and most original, informative Challenger tier content you can ask for, links down below. Alright, so lots of players on the Rift think like this. Oh my god, my teammate's in trouble, I'm gonna try to save them. Nah, screw your teammates. Straight up, a court teammate is a court teammate. You let the int. And 99% of the time, you cannot save them because they are in way too deep. Kind of whack, but yeah, you make the situation way worse trying to help a brother out. This happens all the time around Baron and Elder Dragon. I'm sure you've all experienced it because you're thinking, oh my god, it's going to be a 4v5 if he dies, I can't let that happen, and you die as well, and it's now a 3v5. This relates back to my point about being selfish. You play the game on your terms. You do not change up how you play because your support got caught trying to ward the enemy jungle, or because your ADC spam ping for assistance trying to take down the enemy fountain. You let them run it down and stay alive. Play for yourself. Guys, thanks so much for watching the video. So you don't miss out on all of our new daily uploads, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. This has been Coach Jizz, and until tomorrow's installment, peace.